Senator from Connecticut.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm so glad to join my colleagues on the floor today to really emphasize how a family's life falls apart when they don't have access to good child care. I'm one of a handful of parents of young kids. I have no complaints. Obviously, my wife and I make enough money so that we've been able to provide quality child care for our kids as we have both been working throughout their life. But when you are living on a more modest salary, not a poverty wage, but just a modest lower middle income salary, your entire world can fall apart when you lose access to a quality child care environment. People have to quit their jobs. They have to move back in with their parents. They have to move their entire family to a different city or a different state. Your entire life gets upended when you can't find care for your child, because you will upend your entire life for your child. Nothing matters more than making sure that your child is safe. And so what we are forcing our families to do, simply because we don't choose to do the right thing and provide funding to make sure that there are affordable child care qualities available, it is sending our families into unnecessary crisis all over this country. In my state, I've had 124,000 parents report that their work has been disrupted by child care issues, that they've had to leave work, that they have had to leave employment because of an interruption in childcare. Our child care centers in Connecticut, and we're a high-cost child care state. We're a high-cost state in general. 89% of them report that they've had difficulty hiring staff. 60% of them say that right now they are understaffed. And 70% of them say that they have wait lists for new families, which just shows you that all over Connecticut, we have a total mismatch between the number of slots and the number of families that need those slots. And of course, that delivers enormous harm to families, but also to our workforce. I met a young woman a few weeks ago who lives in Hartford, and she's got a very young child. They're on the wait list for a subsidized child care slot. She wants to actually be a child care worker. She wants to help solve the workforce shortage, but she can't get into the workforce. Why? Because she has to stay home to take care of her young child. And so this cycle, right, that ends up impacting not just families, but our economy writ large is one that we have to break. I just want to leave you with this one last piece of math to just explain how serious the situation is in my state. So in Connecticut, we have a program called Care for Kids. And this is a program that does, for lower income families, try to give them some subsidy so that they can afford childcare. But that program cuts off for a one-child family at $41,500 a year in income. Now that's a lower middle income salary in Connecticut. That's a salary that's not unfamiliar in my state. Let me just do the very quick math for you. For a family of three, two-bedroom, a one-bedroom house can be about $1,800 a month. Childcare in Connecticut, on average, is going to be about $15,000 a year. Total up just the costs for a family that makes just above the threshold to qualify for our subsidy programs. Let's say a family that makes $42,000, doesn't qualify for our subsidy program, is spending $22,000 a year on rent, is spending $15,000 a year on childcare. That's $30,000, $7,000 a year. They make $42,000, $5,000 left, $10 a week for everything else. For food, for your cell phone, for your clothes for your kid. If you're making above the rate of subsidy in Connecticut, just the costs of childcare and rent leave you with $10 a week to survive. In the richest, most affluent country in the world, how can we justify leaving families who are doing the right thing, who are working, in that position? And so that's why I'm so glad to be here on the floor with my colleagues, pleading with our Republican friends to do the right thing and support the president's proposed plan to support child care, affordable quality child care in this country for the families I represent in Connecticut. I yield the floor.